head. So this is the whole bay, and there's different towns as you go down the bay, but we're the top of the bay, that's why it's called the Bay Head. So this is a map where it shows this. Now, here, this room was one of Elrich's favorites as well because it has very good lighting for reading, for research, etc. And here we have magazines from the 1950s that talk about Dianetics.
Whoa.
Do not open it, please. 25 cents.
Yeah, and look, there it talks all about the Dianetics courses.
Instruction course.
Isn't it funny?
The Hubbard Dianetics Research.
And then it says
Foundation
9 pages of color. Whoa!
Wow.
A whole 9 pages.
Wow,
of color.
impressive. That was a selling point.
Yeah.
15 cents.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. You want to pick up? We'll wait for you. No, you can hear it too. So these are magazines from 1950 that talks about Dianetics.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Can Dianetics help you?
Oh, wow.
And then this one too talks about the Dianetics courses.
Oh, my God. This is
What's
my
up,
favorite
you?
spot here in the whole house.
I know,
This
it's
corner
beautiful.
here. I love it.
Oh my God.
Like, when we get our own
What
house,
you
I
up
need
to?
to have like a little corner. Like,
Dale-moi.
Yeah, right.
like for me to have my
Dale-moi.
coffee and all that stuff and relax, wake up and sit there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you made it. Now what?
She wants to sit.
She feels very comfortable with you.
Yeah, I see. I like it.
Well, she's reading.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. You tell him.
Mom!
Yeah,
see, she's helping.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Give it back to Chelsea now. Give it back.
Thank you. You want to help me in the next place?
Come.
Let's do it.
Okay. By yourself?
So
you
Elron
wanna
Hubbard
sit
yes,
there?
used to
Wait.
sit here.
Mm-hmm. To study.
And this one here is also custom made. Right?
Yes.
So if it wasn't,
It's
if
all
it
custom.
was like broken, you had to like make it custom made, and they had it to make it look the same.
Yeah, so all of these are special because they have this pattern. You see the pattern of this? And it's made with trees from this area.
Mm.
So everything was custom made.
He liked water and like the sea because there's a lot of shells around.
Yeah, he did a lot. He said that was his favorite place. And I'll show you something else upstairs.
Oh right, I saw a picture over there
Uh-huh.
of him on the beach.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Yummy later. Later.
This is the place that we got steaks in.
Yeah. They're also this is a vintage egg beater.
Oh,
That's a yeah.
I like that.
Put your finger in there, Carla.
The egg beater.
And then this is to cut hard-boiled eggs.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Cheese shredder.
Or back scratcher, whichever.
Depends.
And then this is to mash potatoes.
Well, you can get a pedicure too with that.
See, Pam over here showing us the tips. Now this stove has been here for over 80 years.
What?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And it still
And
works.
it still works. This is where I cook.
Wow.
See?
Look, hot. Yeah, hot. She's saying hot.
Yeah, see, she learned.
Blue equals hotter.
Exactly, that's true. And the fridge, obviously, it's a replica, but it's also 1950 style. Let's go upstairs. Excuse me.
Follow you.
Upstairs.
Oh, and yes, this also works in case you're wondering.
Wait,
no, soda.
Wow.
All right, let's go. Last one up here is what's next. That's a Stephanie. Now this is the bathroom, obviously. So this bathtub has been here for 120 years.
Wow.
This was originally here when L. Ron Hubbard lived here.
So he bathed in that.
I don't.
No, he did.
He did. Maybe.
Okay.
I assume so.
I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. But I definitely don't. But this was just totally refinished. But it's the same one that has been here for
Wow.
all that time. And everything is 1950 style. Everything, the tiles, this sink is also 1950s. The toilet is just a regular toilet, but. All right, next room. Excuse me.
Come on, we found Chelsea.
I
Coral.
guess this is a room.
Mm-hmm. So this is the L. Ron Hubbard Library. You guys can come in here, stay there, and like stay in this area, and they'll be over here.
Big room.
Cora say wow.
Yeah.
You like it, Cora?
You like it? Come here.
The refreshing power of knowledge.
I have a question.
Oh.
Okay.
Those LEDs were not here, right?
Wow, you look good there, Cora.
LEDs.
Of
No,
course, no.
none of this was here because this is the story of his life. So this used to be a bedroom for people that were staying here, but now we made it into this so it can be part of their tour. Okay? Good. So this starts here, right next to Pam. It's the beginning of how L. Ron Hubbard got introduced to the mind. This is him at 13.
That's his diary
Come with me.
when he was in the Boy Scouts.
Ven, move over para ella tomar foto.
Stay here.
Move back.
Ven, chiquita. Mami.
That's when he was in Boy Scouts and then
No,
Exactly.
no touching.
So this is when he was a Boy Scout. He was the youngest ever Eagle Scout at only 13. So he had just turned 13 and then he became an Eagle Scout. In fact, here is the diary from that time. So as Hemini said, his birthday is March 13. And here it says March 25th. In 1924, he became the youngest Eagle Scout. And it's funny because it's his diary from, his day to day. And it's like, he became this youngest Eagle Scout in the U.S., went to Washington, he met the president who gave him the badge for the Eagle Scouts. One of 5 children at the time that were allowed to do that. And then 4 days later, was born. 4 days later, that's all his entry.
He was bored?
Was bored.
Ah.
Oh,
Was bored.
Was bored. Oh, that's funny.
no writing when
Became Eagle Scout. This is the actual,
Yeah.
like the original? Wow.
Very well preserved.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was very good at keeping record of everything.
That we know.
Yeah, exactly. Let me show you the rest. Can you back up for a bit?
Back up.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Sorry, I'm trying to keep social distancing.
Yes.
It's hard when you're Latino, you want to be
Very.
close to everybody. So these are the books that you see in the top and the bottom are the books that he was reading at that time. Or he mentions in a lecture or in a book, he said, oh, back in that time, I read this book. So all of them, we gathered a copy of it, and we have it up here. Now here, this is when he was 16, so 3 years after this, he visited Guam. Does anybody know where Guam is?
No.
So Guam...
Guamamala.
So Guam is in the Pacific Ocean. So it's near Japan. So it's in that area. And he visited there, and he stayed there as a teacher of English. He taught these little children English. Guam indigenous children.
Wow.
I saw that picture.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not there. Okay.
No, he's not there. He's just. So he taught them English, and this was when, like, the beginning of
At
the study
16.
technology. And he was trying to explain to them what is a building, right? Because this is, native Guam, they don't have like skyscrapers.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to make them understand what it was, he drew in a blackboard a little, like, una casita de paja, right? Like a little tiny hut house. And then he drew another one on top of it. And then another one. And then another one. So the kids were like, whoa!
Yeah, mind blown. Like, how did you get up there?
Yeah, exactly. So then they were able to understand what's a skyscraper, right? A huge building.
A huge building that goes, like, it looks like it goes above the clouds.
Exactly. Because they didn't have anything like that, so he used what they did know. Make sense? Good. This is also his diary, so if you guys want to come back and read, you're welcome to.
They have beautiful handwriting.
Yeah.
Much better than mine.
Yeah, back in those days, they had great handwriting.
Que canta.
All right. Good. Now here, this was at 17. 17 years old.
So 1 year.
1 year after.
Wow.
He was the supercargo of a ship. Supercargo means the person that is in charge of driving the ship
Wow.
and in charge of everything they're carrying. So it's one
At
of the...
17.
Can you believe it? What were you doing at 17, right?
Not
Like,
even
what
close.
was I doing at 17?
Playing video games.
Yeah, right? It's like,
Donkey Kong and Vice City.
Yeah. No, there was no Vice City.
yeah, exactly.
Playing games with their friends, with his
Yeah.
friends.
That's a good point.
Wasting my time.
Yeah, not driving a ship, I can tell you that. So in here, he traveled a lot. By the time he was 17, he had already traveled 250,000 miles around the world.
Wow.
And this was all by taking rides on ships, by working on a ship, go somewhere else, be there for a time, and then ask to be in the next ship back, go somewhere else, and just travel back and forth all through Asia, the Middle East, etc. He just traveled.
There were no visa requirements back then.
Yeah, you just got on the
Right,
ship,
free.
got off.
If you could get there, you were good.
Exactly. So this is what he did. And here's some photos that he took when he was there. Like the Mariana Maru, that's the ship that he's piloting at that point. You can see it here.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's a picture from the time?
Yeah, that's a picture of that ship at that time.
Wow.
In 1928. So, and then here is a historical photo. You can see it closer if you want. Let me grab Coral. See if I can help
That
him
looks
come
like a
back.
Grand Canyon.
You want to come with me so mommy can see the photos? You want to go over
Yes.
That looks like the Grand Canyon a little.
That's the Great Wall of China.
Just a little.
The Great Wall Street Scene.
So that's the photo, the Great Wall of China. So that photo actually was so famous
Don't let her touch.
because he took it when he was 17 and he took it when he was 17 and he was able to sell that photo to National Geographic
Oh.
because that was the longest amount of track and of the Wall of China
Covered in
that
one
could
picture?
have been taken in one photo.
Oh, he was
Wow.
really good. 17?
Yeah.
He took that picture.
And you know how he took it?
How?
He was on this train. You can see next to it the little trip thing. And that's the best photo they had. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Look at the comparison.
Wait, where's the photo?
The blue one is the one. The
blue one here.
The best one the Chinese
Look.
have.
Oh, wow.
And then the one next to it is the one he took.
Oh, God.
Yes. And
Put them to shame.
and
No,
then-
mira.
It's fine. She's fine.
Yeah.
We got her here.
Yes.
Sheila.
Te dije, te dije.
So that's the best photo that they had. So he was on this train coming back from seeing the Great Wall of China, and he said, "Oh my God, there's an emergency. I need to get off." So they stopped the
There's
train,
an emergency.
and he took that photo. And he was like, "Okay, everything's fine." And he pretended there was something else. So that's how he did it.
Wow. That's funny, right?
Yeah, right? And that's how funny. So that is the photo, and you can see below the photos of him. That you see that photo in the middle of him, very fashionable.
Those are China. Freaking China.
You okay there, Kenji?
Yes.
You too hot or something? Too cold?
No, just fine.
Just comfy like that? All right. Where do you want to go? Oh, let me give you something. Want to keep them there for a sec? Yes.
You cold?
No,
You
I'm
cool?
just comfy.
You have to be comfy.
Kenji, you know the rules, Kenji. Kenji, you know the rules. This is not the first time you come. The gloves.
He doesn't have the gloves?
I don't think so. Put on the gloves. Stop doing this. Stop doing that.
Kenji,
Do you need a pair of gloves, Kenji?
Yeah, sweaty, okay?
Well, it's called staying safe. Wow. He was a
he was a stunt pilot.
I can't read, but I love it. She likes the newspaper. Isn't it cool? Oh,
No,
it's
don't
okay,
break
it's
it.
okay, it's okay, it's okay. We have tons.
Okay.
That's why I gave her something she can just tug and pull and destroy. Okay, let me go that way and I'll show you guys.
Come around. This
I was reading.
Come
I
around.
apologize. I'll let you have some time to read once we're done.
It's okay.
This is John W. Campbell.
So here,
He's an editor.
we'll get to that.
Yeah, she's gonna tell you.
So here, this is after all this time traveling. You know, obviously LRH was still a child, and he still had responsibilities. So the parents were like, "Okay, you guys, you gotta come back. It's been 3 years. You're traveling around. You need to finish your education, right?" So he came and he enrolled in college in George Washington University, which is a university near Washington, D.C. So here he studied how to be a nuclear physicist. So that's a nuclear engineer, meaning the ones that use nuclear activity for their work. Okay? Good. So now, since he did that, this was his fraternity, right? So everybody that was studying nuclear physics at that time.
Oh, here, that's Ron?
It's this one.
Oh, that one.
They kind of all look the same.
Yeah, right. With the black and white, very
Except
bright
this
photos.
one.
These
Yeah.
Except this one and except
That's like
this
Dracula
one
right
and
there,
this
isn't it?
Yeah, right. Oh, and they all dress the same. Good, you saw them?
Yeah.
So every single guy you saw there, except for Ron, worked on the nuclear bomb. But he was like, I don't want to do that. Because imagine all of these years you've been doing research on how to better mankind to just develop something that
To
can
destroy
blow
it.
everybody up.
Right.
Right? Doesn't make sense, right? Right? Good. So then here's a photo of him in his adventures as a pilot.
How old was he there?
19.
Wow.
What?
You
I feel like such a failure.
It looks totally believable. I'm
Well,
not
that's
joking.
because it is. Because it happened.
I would be scared at night.
I completely believe it, without a doubt.
No, can you almost flew an airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He went on an airplane.
Nice. And this is his license for airplanes. This is when he was 26. Doesn't that look like a mugshot?
Yeah, it does. He wasn't too happy there either.
Yeah, right.
Stop it.
Good. So here is more of his adventures. This is when he went to Puerto Rico and did a mineralogical search. And then here is a ship that he sailed with a bunch of other university students, and they went to DR.
To DR?
They went around the Caribbean and they stopped in DR, they stopped in Cuba, they went around, and there's a lot of it in the Ron series, but it's a very, very nice trip. So then hit the Great Depression, right?
1929.
So he had
was
to go.
18, 19?
Yeah, I mean, that was around that time, and then right after that, in the 1930s, he became a writer.
Right.
So he became a writer, and he was also in the Writers Guild, which is just a club of writers that help other writers become writers, like professional writers. And this is him. This is a photo of him, 1936, in New York City, right in the center.
Ooh.
Wow.
You want to see it too?
Oh, wow.
Good. And then these are some movies that he wrote the script for, because he had written the book and they made it into a movie, so he wrote the script. I don't know if any of you have heard of Secret of Treasure Island.
I've heard about it. I haven't
He
seen it.
wrote it.
He wrote
He
that?
wrote the play, and there's lots of other ones, and they were all filmed at the SMP base now. You know where we have the SMP
Yes.
now is where we initially
SMP
developed-
Scientology Media Productions.
So it's where we produce all of our TV now.
Yeah.
And good. Now after this comes him as an explorer. This is the part that Jimenez wanted to see. I don't know where she went. So here is when right after that, he wrote the Excalibur. So the Excalibur is the first book or first writing he did about all of his research into the mind. He never published it, but he wrote it then. So this was in the late 1930s. This is a picture of him then. And that's the cabin where he wrote it in Washington State. And then he went on an expedition with the Navy. Or sorry, not with the Navy, but to help develop technology for the Navy that's called LORAN. So that's the same thing. Maybe all of you have seen it, where in movies where they send it's like a circle on a ship, and they find like little ships around.
Oh, sonar?
It's like, ding. Yeah. He helped develop the first technology for it with the Explorers Club. So that's even things that we use today.
Wow.
So the sonar and everything. And this is his certification as a member of the Explorers Club.
I can't even read it. I only know.
So he was already done with the university by this time, right?
Given under our hand and seal the 19th day of February 1940.
Good. And
Almost
there's
62 years ago to the day.
Yeah. And here's actually a story that he wrote about when he was doing this research. This was up in Alaska. He went on a ship by himself. So,
By himself?
yes. While he was there, something that happened is that a big Kodiak bear, went onto his ship while he was there and was running around. So he had to chase the bear and get the bear out of the ship, because obviously the bear can definitely take
Yeah.
him. So here is a story. I'll let you guys read it afterwards, but I'm gonna read you the first part. He named it "It Bears Telling." He says, "Gentlemen, not even here am I safe from this continual chatter about bears. I am getting so I can't. Whoops! I almost made that horrible pun which has been following me about. You get it? Because he was gonna say Barrett." He says, "To begin, the whole thing is a lie. I did not kiss the bear, and that he did not die of longing." And he goes on explaining the story about the bear. All right. Next.
Next door.
Next.
So is Excalibur available now?
Well, it's what became now the original thesis.
Oh. So how did he transition from Excalibur? Because it was 1930, right?
Yeah.
The
so
thesis
this-
came out in 1940 something, right?
48, yes.
48.
He wrote it in 1948, but it didn't come out until way after.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just this was unfinished technology, so he finished it and then he published it.
Mm.
So here is when he was in the Navy, because there came World War II and he had to serve. Because he was already trained as a naval officer. So there he is as a lieutenant. And then here's his certificate.
Hello? Hello? Don't you appreciate the fact
Her earring got caught.
that she's taking her time to teach you something and you guys are talking about something completely
I
unrelated?
was trying to listen, but she.
Hello?
It's okay. It's okay. Look, let's just look at it
Be
now.
respectful.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Good. So this is when he was in the Navy. That's the one you were telling me about, right? So this is the ship that he was on. And this is a very nice letter that I'm going to let you guys read afterwards. But he was actually put on the ship with all of these criminals. So in World War II, they released criminals
To
and
fight.
put them as soldiers in World War II. So what he did was he was like, I don't care anything that you did before today. Like, my relationship with you starts today, so you decide if it's good or if it's bad. So he threw away their files in the ocean, and he said, okay, let's go, let's start to work. And he was awarded for having the best behaved ship
Wow.
because of that.
All of criminals.
All right, let's go to the next. Yeah, this is where we're going next.
I've been working out.
Yeah, I can tell.
Got it.
And then after he was in the Navy, he was released. You good?
Mhm.
So he was released from the Navy because he got an eye injury and a foot injury. And they told him, like, you're never going to walk again and you're never going to see again. He was partially blind from that eye for a long time. But he used the technology that he had developed on himself and he made a full recovery. This is a picture of him right after he recovered. So he made a full recovery. This is 1948. And then he became a police officer in Los Angeles. Because there was this thought back in the day that there was a criminal mind. So everything, like all criminals didn't know or had a completely different mind from people that weren't criminals. And he wanted to know if it was true. And he discovered that it was not true.
Look at his big.
Big thumb? Yeah.
Fingerprint.
Look at my.
No, because you switch it around. When
You have to move it.
you have to move it like this. The way you
Probably
get the
as big as your
sides.
daddy's.
You see? You go like this.
Yeah.
There you go. That's his badge.
Very legit.
Yes.
Good. And then here, if you guys can back up a little bit.
So that's 48. So he was.
He was still doing research. He hadn't published anything. So in 1949, he was almost at the very end of his research, and he compiled everything that he had, and he told psychology and psychiatry, like, here, you can have this. I don't want a penny for it. I just want you to have the best technology so that people can be better. And they said, we don't want it. because obviously they're making all of this money
Right.
off of people that aren't getting better. So then instead, they were like, we don't want it. So that's why he decided to release it so that anybody could use it and actually get better. And, you know, it started something that became a huge movement. Here is the first edition, first printing of Dianetics in 1950. So this is the original book from that time.
Wow.
It looks like it would be a school notebook.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's very thick.
Yeah, it is very thick.
Like it looks like this, like the same exact pattern that a school notebook would have.
Yeah, it's because the pattern is from then. Because now you've seen the new one, right? That has the volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So after 1950, when it was released, it became the New York Times bestseller for over 100 consecutive weeks. So week
That's
after
over
week,
2 years.
people were buying this book so much that it was a bestseller in the New York Times. And here's some articles right after it came out. See, Dianetics taking the U.S. by storm. You see, and these are some letters from when the book came out that you're welcome to read afterwards. Any questions? What about you, Kenji? You doing all right?
Yes.
Good.
Well,
What
actually,
about your
yeah.
mom?
What can I say?
I have a question. So after he did all of that research, right? Did he ever explain how he was able to get so much insight before then?
Before when?
Before, let's
Writing
say,
the book?
yeah,
That's actually
because he, like, you know, going to Guam and exploring may seem coincidental, right? Now,
right.
but there was something behind it.
Totally, and that actually is explained in Dianetics, the Evolution of Science. He goes over how he got to that science, but also he was following what he was reading. So, like, for example, right before he went to Guam, he read The Light of Asia. And all of these other books about spiritual, you know, enlightenment.
Oh, this one.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what led him there, and that's how he started researching, because, you know, everybody had a little bit of truth. So you just have to put all the truths together to make the biggest truth, or the most. So he researched spiritualism and how, you know, religions back in the day, how it started with Buddhism, Hinduism, and saw what was correct about it and what worked. And then when he went to college and he became an engineer, he used the scientific method to see what things worked and what things didn't. So he could use all of these things that worked and make it into a science. And that's why it's a science of the mind. It's not just a belief.
Right, but this is at the beginning on this lifetime, right? But once he got into Scientology itself, that he was able to remember things, you know, that you and I know about. Did he say how he coincided?
He talks about it in the lectures as things come up and as he discovers them. He goes over it in all of the
Like
lectures.
at 17, 14, I mean,
I know, it's crazy.
now it makes sense, right? Because we know what we know.
Right.
But
Exactly.
like, what the hell is this kid doing?
Yeah, exactly. And he goes over it as each thing comes. Like he talks about the background of it. But really what he says, the important thing is that we have it, not what led me to it. Because really what you need is the technology and what works.
Right.
So he will explain it as things come, but definitely what's important is that you know it and that you use it.
And in the free being, he says that people believe that it only took 30 years or something to come up with this technology, but it was much longer than that.
Yeah.
When did he realize that?
I don't know. You know, I think it's something that you're going to have to read for yourself, listen for yourself as you read lectures and also studying the Ron series, because it's his life. Good. Any other
Does he go back?
Yeah, I mean, all of those have a different subject, and it starts chronologically on what
But
happened. And
chronologically on this life, right?
Yeah, no, of course,
Nothing-
it's about his life, yes. So it's a biography.
Got it.
What about
I
you?
wonder who is he right now?
You know, I wonder too. If he is anybody.
Maybe
Maybe he's just here hanging out.
Yeah. He
For
is.
all I know.
Maybe we're one of him. Maybe we're one of.
Maybe all of us are him.
Exactly.
Maybe one
Is
of.
it you?
Me.
Maybe. Maybe it's Coral.
Maybe.
Coral here.
It looks like it because I guess he knows every room.
It's true. All right, let's go. Dang, that's cool. You got a balloon?
Baba boom. Come on, Mama.
So that's the definition of a handful. Coral. There you go.
Okay, good. So we're gonna step into this.
Where'd
This
she go?
is L. Ron Hubbard's room where he wrote the book.
And slept.
Yes. At the same time.
God,
All right, come on in.
Oh, this is where we took that picture, right?
Yep.
I got her. Okay, you guys can stay over there, and I will show you. We will show you, right? You'll show them? Okay, no. Okay, good. So here is where L. Ron Hubbard wrote Dianetics. It took him 42 days.
I don't believe that yet. How is that possible?
Well, he would write, sleep, wake up, write,
Are you sure about that? Did he sleep?
You know, at least he napped.
Right.
Ain't that right? Yeah. Good. And then here I have some letters that were sent to him at that time. One of the 100 every day, right? So here he took all of his letters, and a lot of them had the same questions, right? So what he did is that he sat down and he answered all of the questions. So instead of having to answer every single letter, he just published a book which would have everybody's answers.
Mhm.
Wow.
Saved a lot on postage too.
Yeah, right?
Oh.
And then here, you guys can come around, and I will, in 1 second. And here it has his letterhead.
Yeah, it's outside.
So where he wrote, you want to see? Nice. So here is where he wrote his letters, and you can see it, and I will read you why he had what he had. This is also the same typewriter that he used for writing Dianetics.
It looks so clean.
Yeah, we keep everything here very clean.
Clean
You guys
and
can
neat.
Come around and see
Yeah.
it. And right here.
Like I would have not kept it this nice if I lived here. You see my shoes there.
No, don't touch it, Kenji. Don't touch.
My pants would be hanging behind the door.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Does it actually work?
It does, but please don't touch it because it's very, very, it's an antique. So it's very delicate, and we
Yeah.
want to keep it for the next hundreds of years.
Right.
For generations.
There are no more parts for that anyway.
See, next time maybe you'll be giving the tour.
Or me.
Exactly.
Or anybody in this room. would-
That's true.
Maybe even you.
Maybe. Yeah, it's a pen.
Those are the old.
Wow.
Fountain pen.
It's actually a
that's good.
feather.
Touch.
That's enough. That's enough.
I'm
Let it
not
go.
doing that.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
These are like.
It's a very large feather.
It kills
Where
me.
do they get those kind of feathers from? What bird?
A pigeon.
It kills me.
That is
So
way
now
too
I
big
wanna
for a
read you-
pigeon.
I want to read you why he had that letterhead, right? So he says, I used to have a letterhead. Oh, please don't touch. Thank you. I used to have a letterhead when I was writing down in Hollywood. everybody had a fancy letterhead of one sort or another. So I had somebody draw me one of a cavalryman, so that's a man and a horse, at full charge, with saber stretched, and so on. And I omitted the motto that went under it because it would have been too much for the boys out in Hollywood. The motto that went under it was, ride over everything you come to, which is, by the way, a tremendously workable philosophy. If you ever feel utterly sad and you can't possibly make the grade, just grit your teeth and somehow or other get up to the speed on the idea that you can ride over it and you will make it. Exactly. So she can ride over it.
The only way out is through.
This is next. This is where we're going next, okay? Can you put that in here?
This one?
Yes, thank you. All right. Let's show her. Yeah. So here is where he had the first Dianetics sessions. So what happened was that people that knew him would just show up at his house and be like, hey, I'm here to learn about Dianetics. So he was like, okay,
Lay down
on
here.
in, you know? It's a huge house. He had plenty of rooms. So there was 3 twin shifts, so 3 sets of 2 people that stayed here and would audit. Yeah. So one of them would lay down and the other one would do it from the book. And he developed it so that you could just do step by step every single thing. So nobody had to do 12 years of training to be able to audit Dianetics. See? When you can read, you're going to be able to do it. Coral, you ready? Oh, yeah. So that's why he developed it the way he did. And he had people so that he would write it, give it to them, they could try it, and if it didn't work, then he would have to rewrite it some other way to make sure that anybody could do it. Come here. Okay, good? Ready? Last one. Oh yeah.
The
Over
biggest
there.
room.
Oh yeah.
Well, the biggest room is the downstairs.
Like the biggest room upstairs.
Before you ask, this TV was not here when he was here.
That would have been worth like
Very
$1 million.
advanced technology.
Very advanced.
Would have been worth like a few $100,000.
Yeah, back then, yeah, for sure.
Should I wait on the other side?
Just go over there.
My back.
Let's show them. Let's show them, okay? So, Coral and I are going to show you. This is Dianetics, how it looks nowadays.
Yes. Look.
Look. You see it? Oh.
It's a
So-
volcano.
So that's how the book looks nowadays.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my god. So this is what the book looks nowadays. We also made it into a movie and an audiobook, so anybody can just listen to it or see it. Because,
And then
you
put
know,
it
it's a very long book, so sometimes you need some help to see how it works. And then these are the courses that we have, and here's people around the world who use it today. And now it is translated on over 50 languages.
And that's the
Somebody's ready to
volcano
go.
book that you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and here is more, right? And then here is all of the books that he did. He did the rest of these in 9 years.
Wow.
He developed the rest of this technology. And then these are courses that we have nowadays and organizations around the world. All right, now over there. Now these are the different campaigns that came based on L. Ron Hubbard's work, such as The Truth About Drugs. Exactly. See, these are small booklets that to prevent people from getting into drugs, because you can tell people say no, say no, say no, all
But
you
why?
want. But if you actually have them learn what each drug does to you, then they can make an educated decision if they want to do it or not. You know what I mean? Like if you're like,
Oh, so like you know what happens to you, so you know what's gonna happen before it happens.
yeah, exactly, rather than just false
You're
information.
smart, mi amor.
All right, I will leave this outside for now. And then,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Chelsea. Where can I change Coral's diaper?
You can go in the bathroom.
It's almost done, mi amor.
Huh?
She's almost done.
Oh, okay.
this is the
No, it's
last
fine
one.
if she wants to go now. If she's
No,
very.
it's fine. No, it's okay.
You sure? Okay, fine.
I'll wait.
Now here, this is a campaign for human rights. Who here knows the human rights? Or at least one.
You know, Kenji?
To not
No.
deal with drugs and
You know?
No,
Well,
human.
that's more of a compromise, but a right, it's something that you have just because you're born.
The right to speak
True.
freely.
Exactly.
Freedom of speech and freedom of religion.
Exactly. So those
The
are
right to
some-
privacy.
Exactly. So those are some of the rights that we just have. But did you know there's 30?
there's 30 what?
And so many people don't know them. Right? No, don't know all 30. So it's much easier to have your rights violated if you don't know them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we developed a booklet teaching everybody. Anybody else want one?
Thanks. Yeah, so you and me. Thank you. She said thank you.
You want one?
Well, we'll share it.
You'll have enough.
Yes.
And then here is the volunteer ministers. So these are people that are going out and help whenever there's any natural disaster, anything. They go and they help out the communities to recover it after that. Make sense?
I've done one of the courses for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
That's
marriage
cool.
course.
Yeah, there's 19 free courses that anybody can do to become a volunteer minister.
Yeah, so this is the story how he went in the
There was an
marriage.
event in Ohio, and I just
Oh,
did it
yeah.
just 'cause.
Oh, really?
I speed ran through it and got all of it right.
Wow.
He did.
Well, you're very smart. I'm not surprised.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And here is the administrative technology. So L. Ron Hubbard, as it started becoming from one book to a whole church, obviously you need to learn how to manage your business, quote unquote. So this is how he developed the technology for it. And then here is the Wood of Happiness. You guys, I'm sure, all know it. And as you sent me, they're now passing it out in Ukraine due to this craziness going on. Which is
Yeah.
very theta.
COVID.
Yeah. No, not
Not
COVID.
COVID.
The war, mi amor, the
Yeah,
invasion.
there's a war between Russia and Ukraine. They're getting bombed every day.
And Coral can tell you all about the way to happiness.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I gave her the
You
newspaper.
see? Look,
Yeah, right?
let's
Tell
see.
him. Tell me.
She said, ah.
What's up?
Yes.
There, that's the meaning of happiness.
Yeah, not yet. And then here is the study technology in schools that we use with study technology. Here's the Criminon program. So remember how I told you that L. Ron Hubbard did research on the criminal mind?
As a police officer, yes.
So he used the way to happiness to help make criminals not be criminals anymore. And this is how you're able to actually rehabilitate them. And after they did the criminal program, before the criminal program, there was 94% of the criminals that went out of jail came back. After the criminal program, 22% came back. So that's a huge decrease. That's 72% less people going back to jail. Yeah. And then here's Narconon, which is a drug rehab facilities that we have around the world using the purification program. All right, any questions?
I have a question.
Tell me.
Those books are all the drugs, right?
Yeah, they're for free. Let me give you one.
Really, I know I'm not gonna take drugs.
That's good.
Well,
Can
you should
give
learn
a
about
letter?
it then.
Do you want it one too, Carla? Let me give you one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? No? All right, well, that's the end of the tour.
Thank
You
you.
guys want to come down?
End of session.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go with Pam, see if she wanted to read anything. And you guys can go in the library if you wanted to read any letters or stories.
Yes, I'm gonna check some things out.
Of course.